Today we're going to be talking about elapsed time. Elapsed time is when we are given a start time and we need to figure out what a new time is. Our new time can either be earlier or later, and it can range from minutes to hours or hours and minutes later. It's important for us to be able to figure out elapsed time because if, let's say you're outside playing and it's almost time for dinner, you ask your parents, "Oh, how much time until I have to come in?" and they say you have 15 minutes. Instead of having to ask them the whole time, you can look at the clock and then know how much time you have, so you don't have to keep asking over and over again. So before we figure out the details of elapsed time, let's first review a little bit about a clock. A clock has two main hands. It has the short hand, which is called the hour hand, the long hand, which is called the minute hand. Now, we want to figure out how many minutes are in an hour. We're going to go all the way around the clock one time. We're going to start at the 12 and go to the 1, and we're going to count by fives. So count by fives with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Sometimes you'll hear people say half past, quarter after, quarter to. If we want to figure out half past, that's when we cut our clock in half. If we go halfway around the clock, we're going to figure out how many minutes that is. So count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So when we go half past, that means it has been 30 minutes past that hour. Now, let's practice our elapsed time. We're going to say that Susie got up at 7 a.m. If you look at the clock right now, it shows 7 a.m. The shorthand is pointing to the 7. The minute hand is pointing straight up. If we're going to write that down, we're going to do 7. That's going to be your hours. Then the colon, and then our minutes. 7 o'clock. Now we're going to say she ate breakfast 1 hour later. We want to figure out what time she ate breakfast at. So we know that we need to change by the hours. If we're going to go 1 hour. So since we know it's our hour hand, we're going to go to the shorthand, and it's 1 hour later. So that means we're going to go up one more. So if it's 1 hour later, our 7 is going to change, and now it's going to go up one more to the 8. So Susie ate breakfast at what time is this? Shorthand's on the 8, long hand's pointing straight up, 8 a.m. And if you notice, the only thing that changed was our hour, because we went up by 1 hour. Now let's try another one. This time we're going to say that Paul got home from school at 3:15. He has soccer practice 2 hours later. We want to figure out what time his soccer practice starts at. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what 3:15 looks like. So we know the hour is 3 and the minutes are 15. So if we're going to put that up on the clock, we need to have the shorthand pointing to the 3, and then we're going to have our minute hand go to the 15. 5, 10, 15. If we look at that, it's actually the same. Oh. Sometimes people draw arrows to show what they're pointing to, or sometimes it's just straight lines. So this time says 3:15. Now, we know that soccer practice is 2 hours later. So are we going to change the minute hand or the hour hand? Yep, we're going to change the hour hands because it's going to be 2 hours. So right now, the hour hand is on the 3. So we want to take this and we're going to do 2 hops. 1, 2. So now our hour is on the 5 and our minute hand is staying on the 3. So the new time is 5:15. Paul starts practice at 5:15. Remember, when we're doing elapsed time, it is important to pay attention to what the words say. That way we know if we need to move our hour hand or our minute hand. Let's try one more of these. Okay, this time we're going to say that Tim has a math test at 10:20 in the morning. And it took him a half hour to do the test. We want to know what time he finishes the test at. So we're going to write down the time. So we have 10:20 is when he starts, and it took him half an hour. Do you remember half an hour? How many minutes was that? That was 30 minutes. So we're not going to get tricked. We know that half an hour means we want to go 30 minutes later. So first thing we need to do is find 10:20 on the clock. So our shorthand is going to tell us the 10. So shorthand pointing to the 10. Our minute hand, which is the long hand, has to go to the 20. So we're going to start at the 12 and count to 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. So this is what 10:20 looks like. We need to figure out what 30 minutes later is. So we're doing minutes, so that means we have to do the minute hand. So look at the 4. Now we're going to count 30 minutes later. So we're just going to do swoops to the next one. We're going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Our minute hand is now going to be pointing to the 10. So remember, we're not going to start back up at the top and count 30. We're going to start at where our time is and then add 30. Our 10, 20, 30, 40, not by tens. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So our new time, the hour has not changed. Our hour hand is still on the 10, but now it's between the 10 and the 11. So we have 10, and our new minutes, we're going to count all the way to 10. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Our new time is 10:50. So Tim ended his test at 10:50. Okay, so remember, when we're doing elapsed time, we're given a start time and we need to figure out what the end time is. You need to pay attention if we're changing by hours or minutes. That will help you figure out what hand you need to move. When you are moving your hand, you don't start at the top every time, you start where you're at. So this one we were at 20 minutes, we then needed to start at the 20 minutes and add our 30 minutes onto that. All right, have a good day. Bye.